Hey guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book Networking Like a Pro, and you are listening to Practice Builder Law. And we have got a great guest lined up here for you guys today. We have got Katie Lawson from the law office of Katie Lawson, and she's going to be joining us and talking a little bit about marketing and what it is that she does. Katie, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, one of the things that I always like to ask guests kind of right off the bat is tell us a little bit about your practice. Tell us a little bit about the area that you work in. That way people can kind of get a feel for the type of lawyering that you do and what's that all about.
Well, the short answer of what I do is that I help individuals and businesses get out of trouble and stay out of trouble with Uncle Sam.
Oh.
I am a tax attorney.
Okay.
My firm focuses primarily on tax controversy. That's what tax controversy is that if an individual or a business come to my firm and they owe a enormous amount to the IRS,
right,
we help them to settle those tax debts.
Right.
Excuse me.
No.
We also do return preparation, and also tax consulting.
Okay.
So if you are a business client and you're noticing huge income tax bills each and every year, what we do is that we review your tax returns and also your business entity's classification, and we determine whether or not you need to find or need to transition into another business entity classification, and we also help you find more deductions for yourself and your business as well. We also do that on an individual level. We actually review individual tax returns to make sure they're optimizing all of their deductions, credits, exemptions, and so forth. If they're not, then we make recommendations as far as the types of credits that they will need to take, how they can take more deductions, and how they can actually have more exemptions on their tax returns.
That is awesome. I mean, that's a lot of good stuff. I think, when we've known each other for a little while now, and I think that the biggest thing when I hear you talk, it's helping people out, if they have a tax controversy.
Yes.
It's avoiding that potential tax controversy with people. That's the consulting and stuff like that you kind of mentioned. And there's an optimization component to it that you mentioned before, which is here's how you can squeeze the most out of what it is that you're doing.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about, because one of the things that, we talk a lot about on the show is marketing. Okay. And a lot of lawyers, there's different schools of thoughts on different things on how to market and how to get the word out about your practice. Tell us a little bit about what you have done. I know you do some networking or whatever. Give us a feel for what you've done.
And it's funny you mentioned those schools of thought. You have the old school attorneys and you have the new school attorneys. The old school attorneys are used to the in-person networking. They believe in going out and becoming a rainmaker, networking in the community, in the neighborhoods, in the different businesses, and they rely solely on in-person networking to build their practices. You have some new attorneys that are on the other end of the spectrum,
which might be some of our listeners and viewers.
And they tend to focus heavily on social media, website optimization, things that are very impersonal. What I find that works for myself and my firm is a mix between the two.
An integration of sorts.
I do believe that as attorneys, we do need social media. We do need the web presence because let's face it, we're in the age of social media networking. So you do need a social media presence. You do need a web presence because most likely people are most likely to Google you before they actually pick up the phone and actually call your office.
Well, I'm going to kind of stop you just for a second because one of the points that I've made is that they might have heard about you while you're going out and about, but here's the thing: they check you out online. I mean, what do you think about that?
I've had clients that have actually came to my office. They said that a former client referred me, but they've checked me out themselves.
And they use that term.
The web, and they use that term specifically. But I've checked you out.
Right.
I've checked your website.
Right.
I've checked your LinkedIn.
Right.
I've checked your social media.
Right.
I've checked you out before I came in.
That's exactly right. And I think a lot of times social media and just online marketing in general, whatever. I think it almost it's a what is the term when you have it? It's kind of like a yin and yang. That's what I'm trying to think of it. Where you've got your offline stuff where you're meeting people because they still need to put a face to the name.
Of course.
Right. But then I also still think that the online marketing comes in, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but the online marketing comes in where people again checking you out.
Exactly.
And it's almost like there's very few things that people still believe. Okay. The newspaper and the website.
Yes.
90% of what you read in the newspaper you'll believe, maybe even more. Okay. And probably about 90% of what you see on a website. I'm not talking about on a website. Okay, you'll believe it.
And that's exactly correct. And that's one of the most important aspects that you need to make sure that your information on your website is accurate.
So what do you put on your stuff, if you don't mind us asking? What do you do? What do you like on either your website? I mean, you don't have to give away the secret formula, but a little bit. What do you put on there?
I actually like to, I have my practice areas on there. I also have a little bit about my education and background.
Which is smart.
And those are the two main components. I want them to see what I do, and I also want the people to see that I am qualified to do what I do. So those are the things that people look for in looking for an attorney. They want to know that you have some experience in the type of law that you're putting yourself out as practicing.
What another great point, because how many times, and this isn't just, I'm not picking on lawyers, by the way, whatever. I do a lot of work with other areas, as you probably know. And one of the things that I find is that people, they don't make it easy or clear online, usually in person too, but we're talking online right now, easy or clear for people to quickly understand what the heck they do. You know what I mean? So when you talked about right off the bat that you do areas of practice, I think you said, you had it pretty clear, I guess, on your site.
Yes.
That's a great tip, because a lot of times I say, especially if you're a new, just kind of coming into it, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But if you're a new person coming in, the $5,000 or the $3,000 site is fine, but make sure on your homepage that you've got that ready to go,
and that the information is clear and concise, and don't just list the practice areas.
Okay.
Give descriptions.
Oh.
Give descriptions, and I do include a brief description in my practice areas to let people know that this is what this entails. Right.
That's awesome. Now let's go into the elephant in the room with marketing. Okay. When it comes to lawyers and kind of the marketing deal, what's the first thing they say? Well, I can't market to, what is it? I can't market to people who I can't solicit. I can't solicit. And define it for us. What is not to put you on the spot, but soliciting would be what?
When you're going up directly to a person and says, I can help you. Here's my card. Call me.
Okay.
We cannot do that. You cannot do that. It's called the ambulance chaser. You can't chase an ambulance and just start handing out cards to everyone. So that's the ambulance chaser theory. We cannot do that whatsoever.
But you can.
But we can belong to networking groups. You can do in-person networking, because at that particular point, you're not selling yourself as an attorney. You're not selling any type of services. You're actually just getting to know people.
And that's an important point, because with the solicitation piece, the ambulance chaser, you are directly working with somebody, soliciting them for a service that they need in the present.
Exactly.
Versus when you network, what you're doing is building a relationship for a future business. And that's a lot of people. I can't tell you how many times people, Brian, I can't do this networking thing because it's against my, I mean, they get all like, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. That's not the case at all.
And for me, it's really getting to know people.
Right.
And a lot of the individuals that I've networked with, a lot of the groups that I actually attend, I normally do not get the clients out of those groups,
Right,
but
right.
I get friends of those people that are in the group
Right.
because they know the person within that networking group know and trust me,
Right.
and they feel comfortable recommending me
Right.
to their friends, to
Right.
their family.
Right.
So you're not going into a networking group with the intention of I'm going to talk to Sally, Sue,
Right,
Bob,
right,
and
right,
Ted,
right.
and they're going to become clients right away,
Right.
because it doesn't happen that way.
Right.
It's not an overnight sensation.
Right, right. Justin Bieber. Right, does not apply. Talk to us about a feel for some of the types of groups. I mean, we don't have to get the names, but like, do you do like a chamber? I know you do women's group.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do women in networking.
Uh-huh.
I've just joined the Raleigh Chamber.
Okay.
That meets downtown.
Okay. I don't think I knew that. Okay, good.
Yeah, I just joined the Raleigh Chamber.
Okay.
And I also do, and this is really not a networking group, but it's something that I do just sort of like offline, because I do believe in women's financial education. I co-founded a group, Chicks Building Nest Eggs, with an estate planning attorney, an insurance agent.
I did know that.
And a financial planner.
Yeah.
And the focus of that group is educational, but it gives us a chance to meet different women in different walks of life.
Give a plug for the website. What's the website?
It's chicksbuildingnesteggs.com.
Awesome. We got to get the plug. Okay, so all right. So you're doing a number of different things, and getting. Oh, go ahead.
And I the Triangle Power Business Women's Network. I've also decided to join them as well. And I hope I'm not butchering the name.
No, I'm sure you're fine. So one of the things that people ask me a lot is they say, how often should I market? What should I do from a networking standpoint? Give us a feel for like either on a week-to-week or a month-to-month basis, this integration conversation, right? So you're going out and networking. How many times a week? 2, 3, 4, 5? Probably not that much.
It's probably 1 to 2 times a week.
Okay.
Because the thing is that being an attorney, we have to be very intentional about our time.
Right.
So you build in networking in your schedule based on your caseload of what you have to do for particular clients.
Right.
What I do personally is that I allot my networking hours per month.
Oh, okay.
To say,
that's a good idea, like a bank account.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
These are the amount of hours that I have to network per month.
Okay.
And based on my caseload, some weeks may be heavy networking weeks, some weeks may be heavy working weeks. Just for instance, this week is a heavy networking week. Next week,
less so.
Yeah, it's a heavy working week.
Okay, that's a great way to think of it, because I know for a lot of people, especially ones who are kind of, maybe solo practitioners,
yes,
1, 2, 3 years or whatever, 4 years out, right? Maybe not more than that, but they're still trying to get the hang of, this networking and marketing. And really what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is they're trying to get the hang of, we were talking before how you worked for, most people listening have, if they're on their own, have usually worked for a big, a firm, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what happens is they're trying to get organized between growing the practice and working in the practice.
Yes.
Do you have any words of wisdom? I love that bank account idea, by the way, of the networking. Do you have anything else?
And I had a problem with that as well. Coming from a large firm, I did not have to network, because, of course, we had the rainmaker that actually brought in the business, and we were worker bees. We were the worker bees.
Yeah.
And so going out on my own, it became at first it was a struggle,
right?
Because I had to grasp and learn networking,
right?
But I soon realized at the beginning that I needed to go to as many networking events. I needed to do as much initially.
Yeah, just to get out.
Yeah, just to get myself out there and get my name out there, and so I can gain some name recognition. Because when I first started my practice, no one knew who I was.
Why would they?
Exactly, because I was always in a little office in a firm working.
Right.
But the advice that I would give to people that are starting their own practice, initially do the work, do the networking, go to as many networking events as you can. Start a blog, social media. Make sure that you have a very, very professional website. Make sure your website is up to par. Do those things that will give you a powerful presence
and credibility.
Exactly, and credibility, because the more people you meet, the more they're going to actually check you out.
Right.
They're going to Google you.
Right,
they're going to check
right.
you. They're going to check your Facebook page.
Right.
They're going to check your LinkedIn page.
Right.
And then they're definitely going to check your website.
Right.
And also check the website for spelling. One new attorney I saw had a couple of misspellings
right
on the
that.
website,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh,
You can't have that.
You can't have that.
No.
You can't have that. It has to be polished. It has to be professional, because you are trying to build credibility."
And one of the points that you made, I want to get back to. There's two good points in there. First off, with the website professional, you don't have to you don't have to spend $5,000 on a website anymore.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, if I started off in 2001, right after 9/11, and I actually did, and that's fine. But now, a lot of our stuff that we do, even the website that we've got for this PracticeBuilder, it's a WordPress site. I mean, I guess the cat's out of the bag a little bit there, but you can go. There's a lot of places that you can go where you can get a professional deal. It'll take you a little bit of a learning curve to do it if you want to do it yourself. Yeah. I just knocked it out myself because I was having problems with website developers. That's a whole nother story, but that's a whole nother story we don't need to get into. But I did that myself, and I think a lot of people tell me that it looks good. So yes, a professional looking website, because you have to look the part before you can actually be the part, right?
Exactly.
And the second point that I want to kind of bring up that you brought up, kind of circle back to, you said start a blog. What a great point. People ask me, I've got lawyers, they come up to me and they say, well, they don't come up to me, but in presentations, we talk about it, and people asked me yesterday, well, what should I put on the blog? How is that works? And I always tell people, I mean, I don't know what your take on this is, but I always tell people, when it comes to your blog or any type of whatever, we're talking a blog specifically, take a look at the questions that people are asking you.
Exactly. And that gives you a point, an area to highlight your expertise.
That's exactly
expertise in
right.
a certain practice area.
That's exactly right. So you're about, if you're having a tax controversy, talk about, what is it that it looks like? If the IRS sends me this, what do I need to do? If they do that, what do I need to do? And if then, and when you put the blog out, and you don't have to go crazy. That's the other thing. People think this blog is like, this book, 200 pages, and they think a blog is like 50. And that's, right? That's ridiculous. You can put a blog out there, you can set it out, people can find you easily. I'll tell you what I've been telling clients. Don't even worry about, if you don't want to write for whatever reason, you have a few options. You can do what we're doing now, which is like a video, audio type deal. You can just do a flat out audio, and you can get those transcribed.
Yeah. You
can get those transcribed. Website that I've seen is called Fiverr. It's www.fiverr.com. It's FIVE. I think it's RR.com. Okay, and what it's kind of like an elance. I don't know if you've heard, but it's kind of like it's an offshore usually, deal that you're able to for $5. As it relates to transcriptions, it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got a trial and error, okay, but it's $5, and you send it off, and some guy in the Philippines sends it back, 3 days later. And I mean, okay, and it comes, and you can put that onto your site. You know what I mean? So my point, I guess, is that you don't have to just, people say, oh, well, I'm not a writer. Okay, well, I get the fact that you're not a writer, but there's other things that you can do. You know what I mean? So, okay, good. So you've got we talked about your blog, your website, your offline marketing. We'll finish this up on this one. Let's talk referrals, because that's something, so maybe you haven't been around, maybe you haven't just got started, you have been around for a while, but some people, they plateau. Talk to us about how you get referrals from people. Give us what does that look like?
For me, it's to continually keep your prior clients and your previous clients engaged. Mm-hmm. Christmas cards.
Right.
You want to continue to let them know that I'm here.
Right.
So they can always keep you in their minds. Remember you, Christmas cards, birthday cards.
And you're not getting into trouble there with that either, right? On
No,
the solicitation side.
because they are former clients
Right.
of yours.
Right.
They're not a new client.
Right.
They've already
Right. I just
been
want to make that
clients.
right.
And also is if you do a great job,
Mm-hmm.
people will talk and they're going to rave about you.
Mm-hmm.
And that, fortunately for me, that has always been the case.
Mm-hmm.
And people run into their relatives or
Mm-hmm.
their friends, and
Mm-hmm.
they're having similar problems.
Right.
And what they'll do is they'll say, "Well, you need to call Katie. She's great.
Right.
She'll take care of you."
Right.
It's all about the way that you engage that client that you have at
Right.
this particular moment.
Right.
You want to always stand out in the mind of that client,
Right.
because when you stand out, they're more likely to refer you to their friends, their
Right.
family, anyone else, their coworkers.
Right.
Because
Right.
I've had some individuals that have referred me to coworkers. Even with other attorneys, network with other attorneys.
Okay.
Get together and talk with other attorneys, because they can become a great source
Right.
of your referral business.
Right. Right.
Just recently, I had an attorney, and I met her maybe about once or twice.
Okay.
She sent me a client in Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Right. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a change away from here. And they said, and I always ask, well, how did you hear about me?
Right. Right.
And the client at this particular point says that attorney so and so said you were really good at this,
Right.
and they referred you.
Right.
So always remember that other attorneys, they're not always your competition.
Right.
They can be a great referral source as well.
That is an awesome point, Katie, because one of the things I say when I think marketing, when I talk marketing with people, is they think about it as they think sales and then client, and it's almost like it ends there. And I say that the sales, client, and then I say customer service
Exactly.
actually is for sale number 2, whether that's with this person linearly or with other people, referral wise, if that's making sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think a lot of times we think of service as this kind of, oh, well, now we have them, I guess we have to do it, kind of thing. But I don't recommend that. They need to look at it as you've got the client, you're working on them, and you're moving them forward for the next one.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Hopefully
Brian.
everybody got some good stuff out of this. You guys got some good stuff. For Katie Lawson, my name is Brian Hilliard, saying so long, take care, and thank you for your time.